just mark each of these. All right, I'm not going to mark them all because it just takes time. See, I've got the lines that are marked. Okay, so now the way Beth Ireland does it is uses a gouge, a carving gouge, and she just does it by hand. I'm not talented enough to do that. So what I do is this. I have just a little platform. I just took a bar, attached it to this wood. I'm not sure if it'll show very well or not. Hope it does. And then I'm going to use a rotary tool. I think I can plug it. Oh, I can't plug it in up there. Let's see, I think this will reach if I got too much stuff on the lathe, I guess. Okay, good enough. Okay, Sharon tells me I should be moving these things off the lathe. Okay. All right, so the idea now is I have these lines, and I have this surface, so I can put this on here and go straight across. Okay, that way I can get just a straight cut across there. So I'm going to use my right hand to do the cut, and probably you can't see that very well, can you? Okay, well, good, because if I make a mistake, you will never know. Okay, so I'm going to just do a light cut across, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more. What's that? Yeah, I'm using a ball cutter, just a small ball cutter. And you can use whatever size you want. If you make more of these grooves, then you might want to use a smaller ball. Okay, so there's what it looks like. Is that visible? Can you see that? No? I can see it. Let's see, maybe if I turn it right so I get a little shade in it. Can you see it? I can't see the... Can you see it? Okay. So it's pretty simple. It's just I'm holding the lathe steady with my left hand and using my right hand just to go across. So I'll stop there. You get the idea of how it's done. And so doing it this way, even I can make fairly straight lines across there. Of course, it's easier on a 3D printer. Okay, so
retirement gift to yourself?
What's that?
The 3D printer, your retirement gift to yourself?
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so we got the 3 grooves on each side. We say we have the grooves all the way around. Now what I have to do is clean this up. I have to drill it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and drill this, even though it is boring, because I kind of want to show you how it works. So this is the same size, 1.5 inches, that I would use on the main body of the pencil. I don't have a way to tap it in, but it'll go, I think. I should have trued that up before, but I'll true it up in a minute. That wasn't good. There we go. Oh, and I usually put a little bit of wax on it just to cut back on the friction a little bit. I won't drill it all the way through, but you get the idea here of how it works, or it doesn't work. It's probably a good idea to put it on the higher torque, lower speed bell. Okay, I'm not going to do this. This is hard maple. If I had this a couple of 2x4s glued together, go through a lot faster. But anyway, you get the idea. But now, if you made your pencil part first, what you have to do then is fit this in there. So let's do that. Oh, is it back? Okay, I'll use that one. Okay, so I have a tool rest somewhere. Does anybody know where my tool rest? Sharon, you're supposed to be watching where my stuff goes. It's big too, yeah. Why can't I find it? Oh, here it is. This is just like at home.
Yep.
Okay, so this isn't quite true. I should have trued it up before, but I forgot to do that at the start, so I'll do it now. So I'm just going to go across here. Uh-oh. Didn't want to do that. So I'm not going to worry about that little fault there. Okay, so now I have to make this fit. So I'm going to use what's it called, a box scraper, I think. So basically I have two sharp edges, and the angle there is a little bit less than 90 degrees between these two edges. So I'll just come in and probably already went too far, I hope not, but I've got just a little bit more to go. It should be about right there. Just a half of a little bit to go now. I think what's nice about this cutter is you can cut with either edge. Actually, I went too far in, but that's okay. Yeah. About a quarter of a little bit to go. Yeah.
It's getting bigger.
Yeah. You know, wood moves. Up just a little bit. There, I went too far. Okay, but that's okay because I can use epoxy. Okay, so I need to go a little bit deeper, and I don't think, well, I can go a little deeper. And actually, since I didn't go all the way, I could make this where it's deeper, so it's not quite as wide, and I might be able to still get a tight fit there at the end. Okay. All right, I'm going to stop there, but you get the idea. The idea is just want it to fit. You want to make sure that it comes right up against here. When we were cutting this, we wanted to make sure that this edge was straight. If it was at an angle, it would look kind of funny because when you this pushes against, it would be against maybe here and come out on the edges. So you want that perpendicular. Okay, I'm going to stop there though, because you get the idea of what I want to do. I just don't want to take any more of your time. So that's how you do that. Except now I need to cut it off and fix this in. So I'll show you how I do that. Okay, so first I want to part it, so I get a parting tool. Normally I would be through by now because I would have drilled it all away, so, but I'm going to have to. Okay, now because I've already put this in, this inset, I can use the chuck to hold it. And let's see. I keep losing things. Here we go. There's a magnet in here. I think this is going to be too big, but I brought another one this is just barely too big. So I'm going to have to use the other chuck, which closes a little bit more. This is what is a Supernova, Technitool Supernova. This one's from Grizzly, and it closes down a little bit further, so I can just put that in here. And expand it. It's kind of sticking right now. And then I can clean this end up. Now normally there'd be a hole through here, but there's not today. So, okay, and that is the ferrule then. So normally there'd be a hole here. This would be set. I would have sanded it, ready to paint it. And I think I mentioned before I use silver paint. And that's the ferrule. So the last thing is the eraser. And let's see. So I'll use the square blank to start with that. But basically, what I'm going to do for the eraser is just make something like this. I'll have an eraser looking shape. Then I'll have a little tenon that fits into the box. So let's do that. I need to mark center here. This is two 2x4s glued together, but they were different sizes, so the center's not where they're glued. But it doesn't matter because I'm going to paint it anyway, so I don't really care about that. And I need these guys. As you can see, a lot of the time making one of these pencils is spent by just switching stuff around. So what I usually do, I've only done this 2 or 3 times, is I'll make several at a time. That way I can keep it all set up, do 5 of them or 6 of them or something like that, and then move on to the next step. Okay. Okay, so again, I need to make it round. I'll put a tenon on it. I didn't quite get it completely round yet, but it's close. It's all right. Okay. So let's see, time is looking good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put the tenon on this end. I'll start with that. Let's see here. I want the tenon to fit inside the box, so whatever your ferrule is that you made, that's what you're trying to fit. And pretty close there. Maybe a little too close. I'll just cut that part off. And now that should be pretty close. Let's see how close that is. Oh, I was going the wrong side. It's this side. So I was fine with that before. Okay, nobody's perfect. I didn't hear the comment that Gary made, but I heard him say something. Okay. Yeah, got a little ways to go there. Okay, that's close enough. Usually I like a little tighter fit than that, but I'm not going to worry about it tonight. The other thing I want to look at is what the radius should be, or what the diameter should be. These are just about exactly the same diameter. Now the racer should be a little smaller diameter. So I'm just going to turn a little bit away. I'll use the spindle gouge. I'm going to start making it look like the shape of an eraser. This thing is really annoying. There we go. Okay, so at about this point, let's check and see what it looks like. But about this point, it's okay. Could be a little bit less. I'll take just a little bit more off. So at this point, I would sand it down to here. Okay? So I'd sand it, part it off. I don't worry about what this is going to look like. I'll show you why in a minute, but I just part it off here. Now, an eraser has all these flats on it. So what I do is I sand flats in it. So I brought along a disc that I can put on the lathe. To do that, so this is just a piece of wood that I threaded. I stuck a bolt in it that's the right threads for a sanding disc. And it makes a nice sanding disc. John Solberg showed me how to do that. Okay, so now I'm just going to sand flats in it. It's a little fast. So you're getting a lot of dust here in front, probably. I hope nobody's allergic to this 2x4 dust. So I just do random ones. And that's it. So at this point, you know, this reminds me of an eraser. Did you read about they dug up Beethoven's grave? And anyway, they dug it up and they opened the casket, and there he was with an eraser, erasing a bunch of his compositions. And they said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Well, I'm decomposing." So you paint this pink, and then you've got it done. Now, one thing, one problem I've noticed with these,
Don't give up your day job.
I'm retired. One thing I've noticed with these, if you don't get a good tight fit, which I didn't in this case, when you put it, because you know, if it's set like this, it'd be no problem, because it's whether it's a loose fit or tight fit, you know, it's going to rest there nicely. But when it's like this, it wants to tilt out a little bit. So what I've done is I put magnets in. In the ferrule, yes. I had to drill them in this. So that holds it then, so it doesn't.
Why would you use epoxy and everything else? Why wouldn't you?
Because that's the lid. You could epoxy it, but then it'd be awful hard to get in.
Just check.
Yeah. Okay, so are there any questions? So this is a fun project. It doesn't take a lot of skill, or else I wouldn't be able to do it. So anybody can do it. You don't even have to tell jokes while you're doing it. So that's it.